The following is brought to you by our friends over at Actable. Actable gives you the power to profit. Please check them out at actable.com and enjoy today's show. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to No Vacancy. I'm Glenn Haussman, and that's the incredible Anthony Melchiorri. And you guys are absolutely fabulous for joining us today. Anthony, I travel a lot, and I'm always going to meetings. I got to tell you, I love being on the road at meetings.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Tuning in an old person's word.
Yes, I would argue that it is an old person, right. But, we can't even now that we're not in these live shows, I can't even say, "Tune in tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel," you know? Alright, that shows how old we are.
You know, me, I'm not a big conference guy, but
Mhm,
when conferences are done well and meetings are done well, I
mhm.
talk forever because there's so many and some are not done so well. So I'm really excited to hear what our guest has to say today.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I've been to a lot of great properties for meetings. And I'm going to be going to a Hilton property in December. Our friends over at Resorts World are. I'm going to be doing a luxury conference over there, which will be pretty good. But what's really cool is today we're going to be talking about Hilton's got a special section of their 2025 trends report, all called the Meetings Maximize, that next generation of meetings and events. So they went through all this effort to do all of this research, so all of us can gain. So let's bring on Kelly Knowlen, VP Sales Engagement and Special Events with Hilton. Sorry about that, Dr. Producer Suzanne. Kelly, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So I'm going to go out on a limb here. And by limb, I mean, say the most obvious thing ever. Meetings have changed a little bit over the last 5 years. How did they?
They sure have. We saw that starting a couple years ago. We were getting feedback on our surveys from our attendees, especially at our big conferences. And we had to do something different. We had to start breaking the mold and stop
Yeah.
doing the real same old.
Yeah.
Is that you're breaking?
What was that?
What are some of the things you're breaking? What are some of the things that you're changing?
Oh gosh, a lot of things. We were hearing from our attendees that we were overscheduling, that we didn't give them time to catch up on their work back at home, that people were feeling really anxious about coming to events, especially people that are working more hybrid or virtually now more than ever. And then you got this whole other new generation starting in the workforce. And we had to start doing some things differently. So we've changed a lot of things.
Yeah, that's very interesting you say that, Kelly. I just was emceeing a speaker at a hotel management company event a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things they did was they left blocks of time each day so you could actually go deal with your life instead of over scheduling. They'll be like, "Here, have a snack, go be productive." You
Yeah.
know?
Smart. Perfect. When after the pandemic, we had our first big conference, it's for almost 10,000 people a couple years ago. And we tried to pack in so much into this conference because it was the first time that we had met post pandemic with our all suites and focus service.
Yeah, did you either that one I think was at Resorts World too, wasn't it?
Not that one. We have had many conferences at Resorts World, and you're going to have a great luxury because they do luxury very well. I love
Yeah.
that
Oh,
place.
Anthony and I have stayed there many times. We're friends with them. We've done a lot of content with them. I've just never attended a conference.
Oh, they do a great job. As a matter of fact, we've got our Global Owners Conference there next June,
Awesome.
next summer. But this conference, we called it Mega Conference, and we had overwhelming feedback from our attendees that we just put too much in the agenda, and so we really made a change. We've got that conference again this fall in Orlando, and we are doing it completely different. We really tried to listen to the feedback and start a little bit later, end a little bit earlier, give them a break between the end of the day meetings and the evening function, give them a longer lunch, longer breaks, and give them that chance to, catch their breath, catch up on work, and
Totally.
recharge their batteries.
And I'll tell you what, Kelly, your speakers are going to be appreciative of that too, because I can't tell you how many panels that in my earlier days I would do that were like from 4 to 5, and the cocktail started at 5. Who's going to go to a 4 o'clock? Right? Sorry, Anthony. You-
No, it's just funny how things have changed because I remember, going on a conference circuit and it's 7 to 11 o'clock at night and nobody cares about your well-being.
Right. Right. And and even when we have lunches scheduled, we've started giving people to go boxes at the end of the lunch buffet. So they can take it and go into a quiet area that we've designated, an office area or a quiet area where they can go and catch up on work. Or again, if they just are used to working from home and maybe aren't used to having their social battery running at full speed, they can take a minute and recharge a little bit.
I love that because what I do is I always have to have the room at the conference hotel because I need to go upstairs, take a deep breath, throw water on my face, and come
Yeah.
downstairs.
Yeah.
So it's nice that you're planning little areas for people to be able to do that. So interestingly enough, Anthony, this big survey and 79% of Gen Z report feeling at least a little anxious about not having the right attire when attending a work event. Kelly, that's a little interesting.
Yeah.
How'd you
Yeah,
even-
that was a big one.
Yeah.
And not so surprising, you see a lot of times when you get your know before you go and the attire description might be something crazy. Like I went to an event that back in January and it was lifestyle chic. And I'm Gen X, so I'm like, I don't know what lifestyle chic is.
No, that's really funny you should say that because I've seen the word chic used in multiple things. I'm like, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're used to working from home and you're a Gen Z, a t-shirt and your pajama pants is not acceptable?
Well, I think one of these days I'm going to have a party and that's going to be the theme. Is like, the virtual dress attire. I know it's nothing new. People have done it, but
No, I love Kelly, I really wanted to wear my nice shirt, my sweatpants top conference after, yeah, Anthony.
My nice sports jacket, nice shirt, and I have brand new sweatpants on.
there you go. Perfect.
All right, so if Gen Z is really worried about their wardrobe, and I get it, my Gen Zers around the house basically take stuff out of my wardrobe whenever they need something,
Oh, that's
right?
nice.
Oh, they're my size now that they're 21, so
Yeah.
that's nice. But I will say this, Kelly, it's a real fear for
Yeah.
kids out there.
Yeah. And it's not just about what to wear, although that certainly is a big one. It's also what are they going to eat? What is going to be served in food and beverage? And it's the whole meeting preparedness that has them stressed and anxious. And especially this new generation that maybe this is going to be the first time they've come to a live in person event. And, I also have Gen Z kids. And so I think about them when they're going to a meeting. My daughter will call me and say, what am I supposed to wear? So we've created as part of our playbook, we've created this whole initiative, World's Most Welcoming Events. And this isn't just for Hilton, this is for the industry. And it's really cool work that we've done between the research and solutions. We've tested them at our events and we rolled them out in the playbook, but it's ongoing. We're continuing to test this year some new things. But one of them is to provide meeting planners with attire guidelines, just pictures like slides that they can drop into their know before you go with real pictures of real people in different attire based on whatever your recommendation is for attire, whether it's cocktail, business casual, or resort casual, whatever it might be, real time suggestions.
It's funny because as you're talking, and we've all been doing this a long time, and my old man is like, really, come on, we have to tell you what to wear, and you're worried about what to eat, and you're anxious. But then I go back to my first interview or my first meeting. I was petrified. I didn't know what to wear. Should I wear a tie? Should I wear a tie? Like when I go to a cocktail party, what should I wear? Should I wear chinos with a blue blazer? So as I'm talking myself out of this, like, oh man, like, I'm also saying, well, it's not a Gen Z thing. It's a human thing. We've all had those first initial meetings. Now, we may have gone to more meetings or been in an office more than the Gen Zs, so it's maybe more intense for them because we maybe got to those meetings a little earlier in our career, whereas now, because they've been working from home during COVID and all that, so I can understand it, but my first initial reaction was, "Gee,
Anthony, I see your comment, and I raise you with this. Even if you think you know it, each event is different. I wear something different in Alice at NYU than I do at the lodging conference, than I do at a management conference, than I did a few weeks ago at high tech. So it would be really helpful. And I love the idea of pictures in there. Not only does that help the attendee, But meeting planners have a list of about a billion things they need to do. And by alleviating them one thing off that list that doesn't complicate their lives, but helps make it easier, those are the types of details that I help create wins for hotels.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you as far as seating, planning, and design of the rooms, or like everything seems to be the same for years and years and years. Is there anything different in kind of the way you set up the room or the way you break out the room?
Well, yes. I mean, seating, I think if it's a small group, trying to be real strategic. And we just actually published a white paper about this. It's on our Knowledge Hub on our Event Ready Playbook.
Mhm.
Because you can be strategic about seating charts if it's a small group and make sure that we're putting the right people with the right people, to make sure that they're comfortable and that they have make the right connections and help them further their objectives for attending. But as far as the breakouts, yeah, for sure. We actually just did a big event back in April here in Orlando. It was at the Waldorf Astoria Orlando, and we created learning labs instead of traditional breakout rooms, and we got them out of the meeting room to engage and learn and network. And so we did things like a mixology class in Sir Harry's Lounge, and we did a putting green. Some golf putting lessons and pizza making down at the restaurant, some things like that. Just so people are still networking and achieving their one of the big goals of this event was to network and but get them out of that traditional sitting around a conference table for hours in the afternoon.
Yeah, and I will tell you, Kelly, I'm seeing changes to the way it's laid out as well. Now, when you have a giant group such as your Hilton annual meeting, you're still going to have to do traditional seating. But some of the management company meetings that I've been to, they'll have couches in the front, and then they'll have more group seating in the middle, and then they'll have high tops in the back for people that want to sit on desks.
Yeah.
You can have kind of work done. And
Yeah,
stuff.
for me and Glenn, I just said his lap.
Yeah.
Did you else play that much? Please just let it.
Yeah.
Mm. It's really interesting because I think we're getting to the point where it is changing. And then even though people have been doing this a long time, we want those things. We want things to be different. We want more breaks. We want, to kind of know, like, what are we wearing today? Because, are we really casual? It took me, and Glenn knows this, it took me 2 years after everybody else stopped wearing ties to stop wearing a tie.
Oh,
I
really?
I stopped in 1998.
I can't go, like, even going to conferences, even on stage when I'm speaking, like, I don't wear a tie anymore, barely wear a tie because I feel like I'm making other people stressed out because, like, "Oh, he's got a tie on, I should have worn." So I don't wear a tie, but it took me 2 years to get that memo.
Yeah.
So I don't like when people are grouping, and Glenn knows this, that young people, today, we're all on our phone too much. We're all looking for experiences. We're all kind of over this old kinda, format. So, it's really for all of us.
Yeah, agree. I mean, I think I have a question for you. Have you worn jeans on stage yet though?
I've not gone that far, unless I'm told specifically, like, if I see the CEO gonna wear jeans, then of course I'll wear jeans.
All right.
But n I have not gone that far yet.
Yeah, so Kelly, I've got more of the more upscale jeans, not your like
There you go.
styles, right? That and the sport coat seems to
Yeah.
be the right mix for my branding. That seems to work at most events, so I don't have to worry about getting the memo. Anthony,
There you go.
Well, on your own, your Walmart jeans, and when you go to an event, it's Target jeans?
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Well, I think you made a good point though. It's all about making people feel welcome and comfortable and make it so our goal for this whole initiative is really to make people excited about coming to an event, glad they came and want to come again.
yeah.
I'm gonna be trying to do things differently and make meetings more comfortable and more welcoming to really keep our industry robust and healthy.
And what are you doing in the food and beverage area? Because
No, it's not.
that to me, again, we're all eating better. All of us are trying to eat better. We all have addictions, right? Basically I eat 3 things all day. So we all have restrictions, especially as we get older, and the young people are very strict on their diet. So What are you doing? Are you driving the chefs crazy? What's going on?
No, actually, I love our chefs. I mean, that I love sitting down with the chef and brainstorming, but several things. First of all, obviously, I think everyone does this now. At registration, you collect people's dietary restrictions and then meet with chef to design some menus that can accommodate something for everyone. But the biggest thing that we're doing differently right now is sending the menus, the catering and events menus in advance.
Awesome.
And so, as part of our research, we heard, I mentioned this earlier, that people really want to be prepared in advance. They want to know what they're going to have available to eat.
Sure, yeah. I think you're right on. And what I was going to ask you was, I think it's also an opportunity for the meeting planners to create some more excitement and
Yeah.
momentum behind the meeting by featuring some of that as
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. First,
it's a big barbecue kind of thing. Why don't you want to let people know?
yeah.
Like,
Well, and at first, our food and beverage team, they were like, "You sure you want to do this?" Because we thought we might get some pushback, like, "Oh, I don't like this. Can you have this instead?" None of that. We just have had really positive feedback from sending the menus in advance over the last year, and this is for everything from small customer events to the large conferences. People really want to look at it, just like when you go to a restaurant, you look up the menu online before you go, kind of get an idea of what they're serving. They want to know before they go to an event, and it's really helped people feel more comfortable in knowing what they're going to eat when they can get there, what's available.
yeah. And just tip to anybody else, if you don't know, just make sure you got some like cereal bars and peanuts and stuff like that in your bag, like I always carry.
Always. And then one other thing is, we've been working on networking menus. So we were doing some roundtables as part of this research. And one of our customers said, I never eat at these things. And we're like, what do you mean you don't eat at these things? We've got this great food and beverage. And you said, no, I don't want to try and network and spill stuff on my shirt and try and eat and talk. And so we started working on this idea of networking menus where it's small, bite sized, especially for a reception, no sauces, no poppy seeds, no spinach, something that you don't need to cut.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you've got this beautiful filet or steak or something, and you don't have enough tables to sit and cut it and eat.
No, this is one of the things, Kelly, I don't understand is why do meeting planners have 500 people and 3 cocktail rounds and a giant carving station?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Well,
quick.
say that about spinach. I've been in events and sometimes I'll have some spinach and I'll go, okay, I can't open my mouth right now because I have freeze in my teeth.
Dude, Kelly, you're really hitting home on this because I typically do not eat and drink at the same time because I worry about the spills. And if I'm having any real kind of food, I go hide in a corner and I take myself out of the networking. But typically I wind up not eating and then hitting those kind bars back in my room afterward. Yeah.
Or where I is I have 4 backup shirts.
But he's like Superman. On a spill, he just rips off the old one. It's got the other one right under it. Yeah. So, Kelly, what does all of this mean coming together in the direction that meetings are headed to? Where are our opportunities to have more successful meetings, and what are some of the red flags that might have appeared as well that you should try to avoid?
No, that's a really good question. I think, we just need to continue to listen
Yeah.
to our audience. And as we have a new generation coming into our events,
Mhm.
what can we do to continually to enhance their experience? So I think listening is big. Like I mentioned, this conference we had a couple years ago, we've got it again this fall. And the one where everyone told us it was too overscheduled. They also told us that they felt lost in the crowd. It was almost 10,000 people. So we're not even having a general session this year at this conference, which is kind of
Wow.
mind-boggling.
Yeah.
We're gonna live stream our CEO and have some videos from our executives into grand rooms, so they feel like they're at a smaller conference, even though they're at a large conference. So I think it's really listening and acting on the feedback that you get continually from your attendees, and what can you do differently to make them feel like they're getting the most they can out of this meeting, event, conference, whatever they're attending, and that they want to come back and that they're going to do something differently when they leave that meeting.
Yeah.
And so that's a part of it. And any red flags, I think that the other thing is you're trying to address people's anxiety. So again, setting the menus in advance, setting the agendas in advance with the dress attire guidelines, One other thing we're testing right now at our events is we've been doing etiquette classes, which seems completely, how is that related to meeting at events? Well, again, people that are used to working virtually or on their phones, making them feel more comfortable, getting them some social etiquette tools when they go into a big event. How can they walk up to a crowd of people and if they don't know anyone, if it's their first time?
Yep.
So for this conference that we're doing in the fall for 10,000, we're going to do a virtual etiquette class and
Nice.
give them some social networking tips. And I don't mean social as in social media. I mean like walking into a networking reception or a trade show, and how do they approach stranger?
Right. And just a shameless plug, this is why my friend CJ Arlotta and I, PR Genius, and I've created a media training. So if y'all want some of that, we hit those specific types of issues out there. Kelly, this has been absolutely amazing. With all these events, how do you sleep? And you've only got 2 months to go until September 16th. Are you getting a little nervous already? Or
We know we are actually we've got our final planning meeting this week here in Orlando, and we're excited. I think that our attendees will like seeing things done a little bit differently, and the approach will be a little bit different this year. And I think it's exciting.
So when you have to put together a meeting with so many people and there are countless details, how do you manage your stress and deal with the inevitable situations that pop up?
Well, having a great team is first and foremost. My team that manages both sides, our customer events, we do about 200 customer events, and then we do the conferences. Um, just a fantastic group of people. Everyone's very calm, solution oriented. So I think together, the support system that we have in place in the team and with our leadership at Hilton, really helps us manage our stress and just look for solutions with our partners every step of the way. That's the best I can say.
You don't get to your level unless you're always prepared for everything. Like people, the execs in hotels, in hotel brands, they're always prepared. So if something happens, the things that they were supposed to take care of are taken care of. So they can deal with the emergency in front of them. Right. And that's one of the things I've learned over my career. If you're buttoned up, I learned that in the military. If you're buttoned up, all your job is to do is to react to an emergency, to react to that stress, react. But if you don't have your stuff squared away, then all that other stuff gets really stressful.
Yeah. Yeah, we created this half of the team to manage our conferences right before the pandemic. We executed one event and then pandemic shut everything down for a couple years. And we brought the team back and started doing our conferences again a few years ago. And we've come such a long way in how we've created processes and procedures and put just an incredible team and partners together to be able to execute these big events. And that's what it's all about, is having just a rock solid team who works hard, plays hard. They really enjoy what they do.
So I have two questions for you. One, that little hotel you have opening in New York City soon, that little small hotel,
Little one?
I can't remember the name of it. When is that opening? And are me and Glenn invited to the opening party?
I'm working with the team that she has nothing to do with that.
Oh, I don't. I can't wait for that hotel. I'm actually already planning a big event there, but in January, of
Yeah.
course.
When when's it opening?
I don't have the exact date.
I think
But I know it's opening very soon. You've probably seen it was on the news a week or so ago.
Yep.
I've
And
been I've been bothering Larry Treckler a lot and saying, "Hey, bro, when do we go? Can we do a podcast from there?"
The listening, Larry does this all the time.
I was at the closing party, so I'm excited to be at the opening,
I was too. I was at the closing party too.
and I was at Eric Long's going away party.
Oh.
Former GM.
I will say I was the only non-Hilton person allowed at the party because he promised me for 20 years and said, "When you leave, I need to be at your party." And I get a call from his assistant, Tess, and said, "Anthony, you're coming to the party." I was like so excited. I was like,
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, if nothing else, I'll invite you both to our customer event that you're creating for January there. But I did get a tour about a month and a half ago or so, and it is absolutely stunning, as you can imagine.
Is
Every
it
detail.
yet? Is the clock back in the lobby yet?
The clock is in the lobby. It is looks very similar. I'm sure they've refinished it, like they have refinished everything, but it looks very similar to me from how it looked before. But
The most famous words in the hospitality industry is "I'll meet you at the clock."
I'll beat you at the clock. That's right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Kelly, thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see you before we see
I
you.
hope so too. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Kelly. Please hang out. And thank you guys for watching today. Really appreciate that. Anthony, anything you want to say before you get out of here?
Bye.
All right. Make sure you watch our shows by getting the podcast wherever you download your shows. Of course, follow us on LinkedIn and wherever you get your social medias. Thanks so much for being here. Remember, everybody, you've got one life, so blaze on and
Be kind to yourself.
see you next time.
For those of you